Hey guys, welcome to Winning the Battle. I'm Lori Jacobs, and we are back after a small break. I have a guest speaker with us today. This is Mandy Harbin, and she's going to help talk with me about nutrition. Mandy, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself so everybody knows your background.
All right, so I am a mom of three, and I'm actually from Carrollton, Georgia, and born and raised there. I met my husband 4 years ago, and we've been married for almost 2 years on Tuesday. And we have, like I said, we have 3 kids together. And when I moved to Troy, Stephen is my husband's name, had a friend come over, and he said, "Hey, you ever done competitions?" And I said, "What kind of competitions?" And he's like, "Bodybuilding." And I was like, "It's a man thing, you know." I didn't know anything about it. So he was like, "You need to look into it. You have," he said, "a swimmer's body." And he was like, "Seems like you'd be real easy to get into shape." And I was like, "Okay, whatever." So I started researching it, and Stephen knew a lot about it. And so I decided 2 years ago, it was in April, that I would do a competition in July. And so I started prepping, and I was actually preparing for my wedding and went on a honeymoon during my prep.
Oh my
An all-inclusive honeymoon, you know, drinks and food and all that.
Yes.
But I did that first competition, and I fell in love with the sport. And you know, since then, I've done 4 other competitions, and now at a national level. And also work full-time, and then I work part-time training customers online. I have about 38 right now.
Wow.
Have 2 men and about, I think, 35 or 36 women. Can't keep up with them now. But all of it's online. I use an app, and I wish it was my full-time job. Like, I absolutely love it. But I don't wish that if anybody at my actual job sees this, because I don't want to lose my job. No. So yeah, that's a little bit. Oh, and I'm 33 years old. And one of my goals before I turned 30 was to be in the best shape of my life. I didn't quite hit that mark. It was about 31 and a half. But still, it was one of my goals, was just to be in really good shape. I didn't have a clue I'd be competing on stage in a bikini, but
That's awesome. So you've only been doing this for 2 years?
Yes.
Wow. All right, so that kind of leads to the next question then. So tell us about how you kind of prep for your competitions.
So when you're actually in prep can be anywhere from 24 weeks down to 8 weeks, depending on the person. So for me, my body responds really, really well and really quickly. So I normally do like a 9 to 11 week prep. This time I am in prep for, the total will be 17 weeks by the time show gets here. So it's going to be a really long prep, but for me, I also think that's good, because in the, you know, each competition you learn from what your body looked like, and you're like, oh, I could improve this, I needed this, I needed this. And my biggest thing to me, not judges' feedback, but to me, is that my glutes never came in tight enough. And you know, with women, we hold so much fat in our glutes. Like, that's the one place that's the last place for it to come off. You notice when you lose weight, you lose your butt, but you're not losing your fat.
Right.
It's just kind of flattening.
It is all fat.
So, but yeah, this long prep is going to be really helpful. There, for the training part of it, that varies. So there's a prep, and then there's an off season. And for off season, I really try to go super heavy, and I really do during prep as well. But during off season, I'm thinking I need to grow, so I need to do as heavy as possible. But I learned this past little 5 months that I had off, that what I thought was heavy really wasn't heavy, because I pushed myself even harder, and I was like, gosh, I'm a lot stronger than I thought I was. I was just too scared to move it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't want to put it on 250 on leg extensions, because I was like, there's no way I could do 250 on leg extensions, but I actually can.
Right.
It might only be 5 or 6 reps, but that's how you build muscle.
Exactly.
So prepping is a lot more, like, I guess, strategic than off season. Off season's a lot, you know, you can kind of play with foods, you can play with training, you can move things around. For prep, I actually have a coach now. I was coaching myself, but I hired a coach. And her name is Autumn Cleveland, and she's awesome.
Shout out to Autumn.
She is awesome. She was actually the first figure competitor I started following when I got into doing this.
Okay.
So,
now, how did you find her?
Just Google, like I was like Googling girls that did it, and then just researching. I got on Instagram and looked up figure competitor, and Autumn has been doing it for 15 years. She had a YouTube channel,
Wow.
which that is also how I found her,
Okay.
because she had a documentary about how she used to train with her dad, and that like got me all
Aw.
teary-eyed. And I love my dad. He knows nothing about training and nothing about diet, but I thought it was really cool that she was 13 years old in the gym with her dad,
Yeah, that is
and
neat.
she started when she was 15,
Wow.
and she's 33. So she just had a really, really cool story, and I really loved it. And so I hired her for this prep, and right now my judges' feedback was I needed a bigger back. So in figure, if you don't know, they look for broad shoulders, a little waist, and then the quad sweep. So it's like an X.
Oh, okay.
So it's an X
Yeah.
factor, like literally quads or shoulders, tummy, quads. So they look for an X factor, and when you do your pose, it should look like an X.
Mhm.
And so mine didn't, because I have a very thick, like square. I call it SpongeBob waist.
Oh.
So it looks like a square. It's not. It don't have the curves like some women have. I just have a square. And so I really had to work. The way to do that is to give the illusion of a smaller waist, to build
Right,
bigger
okay.
shoulders and bigger legs, so that you look like you have a smaller waist.
Right, makes
Also
sense.
wear a waist trainer when I do cardio. I don't know that those help, but I do it. Makes me sweat, so I feel like it's doing something. But I train back 2 times a week because I needed a bigger back. That was my feedback. I train quads one day and then hamstrings another day. I used to do those together. So having a coach has been really cool because it's changed my training.
Right. Mhm. Well, that's neat. All right. So, what's the difference in your diet when you're training versus when you're not? Or like you're saying prep.
Mhm.
So maybe even explain the difference with your prep season versus when you're not prepping.
Okay. So when I'm in off season, I do macros. So instead of having like a strict, 1 through 6 meal each day, I do more macros. So maybe I set it for 2,700 calories because I'm in off season, I'm trying to grow, 270 to 300 carbs, 80 fat. We'll just say that, and tons of protein, 200 plus protein. I would say if I want cereal, I'm going to make it fit in.
Okay.
So that's how I do off season. Prep is completely different. So the past 3.5 weeks, I've eaten the same exact meal for meal 1, meal 2, meal 3, meal 4, meal 5, meal 6 are all the same. Like meal 1's all the same, meal 2's all the same. It does not change. So it's very strict. Now, if I was coaching myself, I would do more of a macro plan. But because I have a coach and I've hired her and I trust her, I'm following what she's given me, and it's obviously working. So I'm going to keep following it. And I actually like the foods. It's
Will
not
she
bad.
change up the food some since this is a long prep?
I think so. I'm still right now. I'm still at 2,080 calories.
Wow.
So I'm still super high.
Yeah.
220 carbs a day,
Okay.
and then my fat's only 40.
Yeah.
So fat's real low, but I assume I'll probably stay in that range for a while. I don't know that the food will change up a whole lot, but she did give me 50 extra carbs this weekend, so I got to have some extra carbs on Sunday after I trained glutes.
Now, when some people have high carbs like that and low fat, they battle with that. Like, how do I eat that many carbs and so little fat? So just tell us some of the foods that you kind of are your go-to foods that are high carbs.
So oatmeal.
Okay.
Oatmeal. And oatmeal is like ice cream and cake for me. I love oatmeal. I make it I put strawberries and blueberries in it, and then a scoop of butter pecan protein powder, and I love it. I love it. Sometimes I put some nuts because I really like crunch. In all my food, I like something crunchy. That's just the thing I have. But a lot of brown rice. Brown rice pretty much every meal. And then my meal 5 every night is my favorite. I have shrimp and green beans and sweet potato, and I put a teaspoon of peanut butter in my sweet potato.
Oh, that
If you
sounds
haven't
really
done
good.
it, you gotta try it.
Yeah, that sounds
It's
great.
so good. I look forward to meal 5. I get it after we leave here, and I look forward to it every day. I love it. And my oatmeal. Those are my two favorites. So yeah, just a lot of rice. I eat sweet potatoes. I do russet potatoes. I just cut them up and put them in the air fryer so they're kind of crunchy. And I'll do that like if I'm having chicken with green beans, and I'll mix it all in one bowl.
An air fryer. I'm glad you said that because I have recently got an air fryer. Oh my gosh, yes.
It's awesome.
I've even, my nephew, when he came to live with us during the shelter in place, he got addicted to even using it and has bought himself one for college as he's trying to eat healthier. And you just do everything in an air fryer, and it's so healthy for you. I mean, if you don't sit there and add stuff to it. But it's quick and easy. You can just put it in there, walk away. It doesn't take a long time to fix your meals with it. It's fabulous.
You can cook steak in there too.
I haven't tried steak.
So much you can cook in there.
Now wings, I've done just some naked wings,
Yeah.
you know, and just done them real quick and easy in there, and those have been good.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about protein. One thing, especially if you're an athlete or competing in any kind of sport, or you know, just if you're working out hard, you want to hit that protein goal. That's like your main kind of goal to hit, and especially if you're doing your macros. But a lot of people think, and a lot of women think, that high protein like that is not good for them, and then they actually have a hard time getting that mindset of I need to increase my protein to help me get where I need to be nutritionally. So what's your take, or what can you tell like women out there that might have that fear of upping their protein?
So yeah, there definitely shouldn't be a fear. One of the things that I tell my clients is, if you think, you know, a lot of people think, oh, chicken and tilapia, this is just too much. I'll do deli meat. Go get shaved deli meat. And you can get like fresh turkey or whatever, and they feel like it's different than eating chicken and tilapia and steak or beef or whatever. They feel like it's
like
lighter.
a guy that likes their meat and potatoes.
Yeah, it's a lighter, because you've got it's lunch meat, you know.
Right.
And I don't prefer them to buy the one already prepared, you know, packaged in the like it where you get the sandwich stuff. I really like it from like the fresh deli, but that's okay too. It just has more sodium in it, and sodium's not a bad thing. But that is one thing I guess I would suggest them trying, instead of, you know, still get your regular protein in, but if you're still down, eat a couple ounces of deli meat. It's not as heavy, and you don't feel, you can roll it in, you know, put a pickle in it, roll it up, got a little snack.
That's a good idea. Or some people might want to do that for lunch.
Yeah.
So that's really good. Now, another thing, do you ever focus on fiber?
Yes. So I actually got my blood work done, and something that had come back was that I needed more fiber. And my diet is, they said you should probably get on a better diet. And I was like, my diet is 100%. So just my body, something isn't reacting right. And so I actually take a fiber supplement.
Okay.
I eat plenty. Like when I log my food every day in my fitness pal, it's where it needs to be.
Right.
But I also take that just to make sure I'm getting
that you're getting your fiber goal.
Because I'm obviously somewhere I'm low on it.
Right. And I've heard a lot of women, and I've worked with a lot of women who, when they up their protein, then their fiber kind of suffers some, and so then they have to make sure that they're hitting that fiber goal to get where they need to be. So you have clients that you train. Do you also do macros for them?
No.
Okay. So tell us what you do.
Because they would not.
It's scientific, okay?
They would not follow.
Right. It's very scientific.
I do. So I love it so much. Each individual person has a different plan. When somebody messages me and says, hey, I want to know more about what you did for Emily, I will message them back and say, here's what I have to offer. That's a generic message everybody gets.
Right.
Same price, same deal. Once they get that, I use the Trainerize app.
Okay.
And so they fill in their information, and so there's a consultation on there. They have to answer these questions. They have to put in their weight, their height. Then it calculates their BMI. Once I have their BMI, then I create their plan.
Okay.
So I go in and I set up macros. So I might say, you know, this one can only have 117 grams of protein, 65 grams of carbs, and 45 grams of fat. But then I go set up her meal plan to match those macros.
Okay, so you do the meal plan for them.
I write it out.
Okay, I bet they love that.
Yes, they do and they don't. So they'll be like, hey, I'm craving pasta sauce tonight. What can I do? And I'm like, let's get creative. Here's what you can do. And so that is the one thing I always wanted to have with my clients was a personal relationship. They all have my cell phone number. They text me day and night till 10 o'clock at night. And it doesn't bother me. They know if I don't respond, I'm busy.
Right.
You know, and that I've made that clear. I set up a Facebook page for the ones who are actively paying. If they stop, then they get removed. But yeah, I do their meal plans, and then I also do, if they want, their training plans. And I did probably 30 home training plans since the whole coronavirus thing, and now gyms are starting to open back up, so it's getting really fun to be able to move them to their next month.
So they're sticking with you, but taking it to their gym.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
So it's been really fun. I actually have one girl that I put on my plan just to see if she could do it, and she's killing it, and I love it. She's lost 20 pounds in 2 months.
That's awesome.
She's killing it. She has a little bicep. She's so excited. She was sending me pictures in the gym. She was like, I got 5 push-ups.
They always love when they can see their muscles starting to pop out.
I absolutely, I love doing it so much. I truly, want them to succeed. And when somebody does text me, this past weekend we had Memorial Day.
Right.
And so everybody's cooking out and grilling and drinking and doing all this. And they're like, oh, I messed up. And I'm like, no. Turn it around. Don't do bad tonight for dinner. Eat good tonight. That's over with. Let's start over. Yeah. But I'm like, it irritates me, not because I'm mad at them, because I want them to do so good.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense. But all right, so I think macros, I keep saying, is scientific, and it is, because like you were saying, you have to think of their BMI. You got to take into account their age, their weight. I do that a lot for some clients too that I feel like can get scientific. Yes. And I tell them, you've got to be willing to play with me, because it's a numbers game. Yeah. And you put it, I don't know how you do it or your app, but it's a formula. And I work with a professor at Troy University, and I use his formula for that, for calculated macros. And we take those factors in, and then we come up with what they're going to do. And that's if they want to go that detailed. So I like that you do the meal plans for people who don't want to go that detailed, and so you're taking away all the thinking for them, basically. Yeah. So have you ever had somebody though who says, okay, I want to stop the meal plans and I want to start trying to figure this out on my own, and you just kind of wing them off and help them? Yeah. I actually have one right now she was my first one in February, which she posted a picture, and then all of them came rushing in. Oh, wow. That's what happened. And it's funny because they're all from my hometown. They're not from here. They're all from Georgia. That is
so I have a couple in Troy, but most of them are from my hometown. And so she posted that picture, and now she's at month 5. And so she's lost 27 pounds, and she's this big and looks incredible. She's growing some muscle, from the side.
She's word of mouth there. Yes.
And she's doing great. So she stuck with my training part, because she was like, I still want your workouts, but I think I got the food. And so because this whole way I've walked her through, she's like, hey, can you check my macros today? Because I always tell them, as long as it fits, if they ask me for something, hey, can I have an extra rice cake? As long as it fits, yes. You can have an extra rice cake.
Can I have I'm gonna be like, can I have a real piece of cake?
But of course they ask that too. Have real cake. Well, what's a healthy version? There's not one.
No, not for that.
So I had, what's a healthy version of chips I can dip with salsa? And I was like, you can make your own with Joseph Lavish bread. They were like, oh, well, that works. I mean, I just come up with stuff, and I've gotten really creative with foods when I was doing macros, so that's been helpful for me to kind of. It gives them treats.
Right.
And what I also do with them is when they've hit a real big milestone, I usually give them a treat, and they don't know it's coming.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
For this one that I was speaking of, Nikki, she got ice cream, she got pasta. We did a healthy version of pasta, but it was pasta. She got burgers, and then she actually had a birthday just now and yesterday, and she wouldn't eat. I told her she was allowed cookie cake. I was like, I've told you for 3 months now you could have a piece of cookie cake. She wouldn't do it because she's weighing in tomorrow.
Oh my God.
So she wouldn't do it because she was checking in. She was like, I'll wait till Saturday. I'm like, girl, have your cookie cake. You deserve it. But she's not. She's waiting.
That's awesome.
So I always believe that you need you need a meal plan that you can stick with throughout your life.
Yeah.
Not just a couple of weeks or a couple of months or, even a couple of years. It needs to be something that you can do, and you can also incorporate other meals. So if I'm going to stick with this meal plan that someone gave me for 6 months, and I lost all the weight and I look like I wanted to look, and then I go eat a bunch of crap, well, what's going to happen?
Back on and faster.
So I want to stick with it, but I want to slowly start adding, hey, we're going to go eat dinner tonight. I'm going to have a burger, but I'm going to have broccoli on the side.
Right.
Because that's what you're trying to teach them, just to choose better.
Right, yeah.
You can still have things. You just have to choose better.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. So when you're running short on time, because we're talking, you're a mom, married, you got a full-time job, part-time job, and training yourself is not easy, or is it quick? It's not. You're not in and out in 30 minutes. So when you're short on time, how do you prep your meals?
Okay. So I in November I went to Preston's in Troy, and I said, hey, I'm going to Miami for this show. Could y'all get me, I think I said 16 ounces of chicken to take with me, because I have to have food while I'm there.
Right.
And chicken's just super easy, and it doesn't go bad quickly. It's pretty easy to carry with you in a freezer bag. And he was like, yeah, sure. And I was like, well, how much? And he was
Did
like,
you fly for this? Okay.
He's like, we want to sponsor you. We'll give it to you for free. And I was like, okay, cool. Well, then Steven gets a text and says that they want to help me with my meals. And I was like, okay, how much? And so we worked something out, and I brought one with me. I don't know if it'll show up on the thing, but we'll try.
You can zoom in maybe.
So this is gonna smell real good. This is tilapia and green beans and rice, and this is called a Preston's Pro Meal, and they have a little menu. Hide my face.
And we'll have those at the gym if anybody watches and wants to come.
And they range anywhere from $6.50 to $12.50, depending. There's shrimp on there, there's steak on there. So some of the meals, you get what you pay for, because you're eating steak. Which is actually really good from there. I don't get steak on this meal plan, on this prep plan. But so yeah, when I'm short on time, they're already prepared for me. But I do my meal 1 and my meal 6 every day myself. I don't prep them because I'm at home for breakfast, and or it's at 9 o'clock at night. My meal 6 is, so I'm at home. So I just do them while I'm there. But before Preston's blessed me with their really good food, it really does make it easier.
Yeah.
Like, it's so good. I usually did it all on Sunday, which I know most people do that. Yeah. If I couldn't, I am lucky enough that I work from home full time. So I would find a day that I could get in there, stick everything in, and get it all ready, and then just come back and fill it in later.
So do you tell your clients like prepping is kind of key?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. And they don't all do it. And they realize how hard it is when you don't do it.
Because you're talking about training, and I think even before we started the show, I told you that I work all day long in the gym, and it's the food part is the hardest, and it's not necessarily like, for the most part, I would probably say I eat 80-85%, but and then I actually asked her a question, then asked, did you drink alcohol? Because, I like to enjoy a beverage like once or twice a week. Usually on Sunday nights when my husband grills, that's like our kind of thing that we do every Sunday night. As a family, we grill, and I like to have something then. So go ahead and tell everybody what you said about having alcohol, though, for those who do like to have it.
I was telling Lori, in my past preps, I would drink up till about 4 weeks out. And when I say drink, I'm talking, if we went to dinner, I'd have a glass of wine or a Blue Moon, or I would drink a vodka soda, because that's always my go-to. If we had friends over, I didn't worry about it until about 4 weeks out, and then I'd be really mad that everybody was drinking around me. But now, I had already, even during off season, I just kind of quit. I got so used to not having alcohol that I didn't even want it.
Wow.
So it's really funny how God works too, because I also prayed for that. So I don't know if that was just an answered prayer, or if it just happened that I didn't want it anymore. But now, like, Steve and I went to dinner. We didn't have the kids for once during this whole pandemic. And we went to dinner last Friday night, and I got chicken and broccoli at Ruby Tuesday, which is amazing there if you haven't gotten it there. And I got a glass of wine, and I got Cabernet because it's a very low carb,
Right.
low calorie wine. And so there again, just trying to make smart choices, even when it comes to something like that. I'm still 14 weeks out, so I'm okay right now. But I will probably stop around 8 weeks. I said probably, but I will probably stop around 8 weeks out.
Well, that's good to know, though, because so many people think that you just have to do without to meet your goals.
Yeah.
And then so many try to stop, like, cold turkey. And it's not that they are an alcoholic or anything like that. It's just that they might be a social drinker or an occasional kind of, just that once or twice a week, like I said, and kind of chill from that. So I'm going to go into the next question. What would you suggest as a healthy lifestyle for someone who wants to maintain and just be healthy?
Definitely, I would say surrounding yourself with like-minded people, which is really hard to do, and I've learned that because of prep and because of being a competitor.
Right.
People do not understand what I do and why I do it.
Yeah.
It blows their mind why I can't have one potato chip.
Right.
It's like it's the end of the world. So it is hard to do that, but I would say also to live that healthy lifestyle, tell your friends and your family what you're trying to do and what you're trying to accomplish, and say, I really want you to support me. So, when we're around here doing all this, try not to throw the food in my face.
Yeah.
Just tell them, because you'll have that support if you just tell them.
Right. Instead of saying it won't hurt you just one time.
Right. And
every time.
I hear that. I hear that so much. So much. And it gets to the point where it's annoying. I mean, because now I'm like, whatever. I just blow it off because I'm like, I don't want it at this point.
Well, and I started CrossFit this summer will make 11 years ago. And I lost 72 pounds right at the beginning of it. But I had to sacrifice a lot to the point where what made me mad when you said it kind of go with like-minded people was my son, who was only, he was only 5 at the time. We weren't getting asked for like ice cream dates like we were getting asked before. And when I asked some of the moms about it, they said, well, we know you won't eat ice cream, so we just quit asking y'all. I'm like, but he's 5 and he still really likes ice cream, and I can, have a few gummy bears if I want them ice cream, So once they understood that, but a lot of them, even when you have kids and they're little, sometimes the family does sacrifice because of what you're going through. And you kind of just do have to explain that to friends, like, this is my choice. I can still go sit at a restaurant or ice cream place and socialize with you. It doesn't mean that I have to eat what you're eating. Like this past weekend, I went to Jekyll Island, took all my food. I hate the mini fridges in hotels. They suck when you are trying to take your own food. But the last day, I had to be out of the hotel early, and I had ruined one of my oatmeals in the microwave, so I was one less oatmeal. So I was like, what am I going to do? So I had my protein, and I just went to Starbucks and got a skinny vanilla latte and then added my protein to it. And then I was hitting my protein goals still. So, and nobody suffered. Anybody want to go to Starbucks with me? We still went to Starbucks. We still got what we wanted. It's just that I'm the oddball that's adding, 30 grams of protein to the coffee.
I do it too.
So I think, communicating is definitely important with everybody, and letting them know that you're just trying to live that healthier type of lifestyle. And not that they're not. It's just that your type of healthy might be different than what theirs is. So speaking of that, we talked about protein and how I was adding that to my coffee. Do you do supplements yourself in your nutrition plan?
Yes, I had to write this one down because I use a lot of supplements.
Okay.
And I didn't write them all down, but there was some that I actually absolutely love. I don't know if you've heard of New Ethics.
I've not heard of that one.
Maybe we can link it on your YouTube.
Yeah.
It's called, I'll send you the link. It's New Ethics. And so I take a multivitamin from them. Obviously it's any multivitamin would work. I just really like those. I've taken so many different things to try to help with, this and that, and I felt like nothing ever worked for me, and these products from them actually feel like they work.
Okay.
So to me, that makes it worth it.
Mm-hmm.
There's one called GDA Max, and what it is, it's a glucose disposable. It resets your insulin sensitivity, boosts your immune system, and gives you better muscle fullness. I take that with every high carb meal.
Okay.
And what it does is it sends the fatty acids where they're supposed to go, and it breaks them away from where they're not supposed to go, and it better digestion.
So it's important not to take it at the right time.
Yes.
Also.
It's with a high, like my oatmeal that's 56 grams of carbs.
Right.
That would be when I take it. Or my sweet potato that's 8 ounces tonight.
Yeah.
That would be when I take it. And then there's one called Flora Protect, which is a digestive function support. And I actually have most of my girls taking this for bloating because broccoli makes a lot of people bloat, and we've had that with several of them. Oatmeal used to make me bloat. It's not now. Not sure what changed, but you know how your body is always changing, ever changing. So those are the 4 from New Ethics that I love. Also take taurine. Is that how you say it? Taurine? I don't know. Taurine for cramping. So I cramp like crazy, like calf cramps in the middle of the night, neck cramps. My pinkies like turn in. It's so weird. My pinkies will be like turned in. It's insane. So I take that for cramping. Haven't cramped since I started taking it 2 weeks ago.
Wow. That, and that it's not like joint kind of cramps. Okay. And I've had a lot of people ask me lately, and I just started it probably about 6 weeks ago. CBD oil, and there is the kind that has the THC in it and the kind that doesn't.
You've tried it?
I've been doing it for 6 weeks now, and the first day I could not tell anything. The second day I could. Second day.
Is it oil like you take it?
You just put a drop, a milliliter underneath your tongue for 30 seconds, and then I do it once when I wake up, and then I do it once before I go to bed. But I was really cramping and like having muscle soreness so bad that it was keeping me awake.
Yeah, that's what's
and so that helped me to go to sleep. And so my body wakes up when I start feeling it again. And if I go on long bike rides, about 25 to 30 miles is my long right now. I know some bikers that's not long yet, but that's my long. And S-Road bike, I have to take it afterwards too, because my hip will start hurting after about 25 miles. So it has really made a difference on my recovery of that too. So it sounds like
some of that.
Yeah, you'll have to give it a try and see.
Tell me more about it.
Okay.
The last thing is CLA, which I'm sure you've heard of.
But some people might not know what that stands for.
So it's conjugated.
And now that I said it, I'm like, what?
It's conjugated lean.
I know what it stands for, but I don't know how to pronounce it.
It's conjugated something acid. Leonec something.
And I'll tell them what it does though.
So it's for weight loss. It has a lot of omega-6 in it, improves metabolic health, and lowers risk of disease. And I've been taking it for 2 years straight. I get mine from a website called Ideal Fit, or Ideal Lean. It's like a bottle this big. It has like 100 servings in it, and it's like $8.
Is it liquid or?
It's a gel,
okay.
A gel pill.
And omega is, I think, essential for all athletes
everybody.
to take, and so that is a really good way to get your
not something
omega.
You get a lot of unless you're eating fish every meal.
Right. But you probably eat a lot of
eat
chicken and seafood, right?
I do.
Fish mainly. Okay.
Yeah.
So and that's not bad though, because sometimes you do hear a lot of people talk about more supplements than what you've listed. So you thought that was a lot. I don't think it's
those are my main ones. I do take more than that. Like I take iron. I take potassium. I take.
And a lot of women are deficit in iron.
Yes.
So that's very important when they are dieting or trying to get their nutrition correct.
I take crazy pills. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
No. All right. So last question I have, and then anything else you want to add. Tell us a good goal plan for someone trying to start to live a healthier lifestyle.
Get off Coke. Like drinking Coke. Sorry. That came out.
We went from supplements to that.
Like, you know what I mean. Sugary drinks, sweet tea, Cokes, Dr. Peppers. I would say that would be like step one. Stop drinking those. and then drink a gallon of water. This is a half gallon, but I drink 3 of these a day. So I drink a gallon and a half a day. Drink a gallon of water a day. I don't care what size you are, you drink a gallon of water a day. That would be my second step. Third step is start choosing healthy. Don't run into it. Just choose healthier options. And then I would say at that point, once you've done that for a few weeks, then just keep going forward with it. Start adding more healthier, then start adding some workouts or some walking or anything to get you active. Stay active. It's really important because a lot of people do not stay active. They think because I walk to my car from Walmart to the parking lot, I'm active.
Right.
Active is your heart rate getting up over 140 for 20 minutes.
Right.
And they don't understand that.
And one thing we haven't mentioned is portion control. And I think after, like, the way you kind of categorize that, maybe say that, because I definitely in CrossFit world dealt with people who want to do the paleo lifestyle. And that does, for a lot of people, get them to drop weight right away. But paleo's concept is not on count on macros. It's you eat from this food list and eat as much as you want when you're hungry, blah, blah. And that's them going from not doing Cokes and things like that. So no sugar, really. Paleo doesn't have any sugar. So they're going to drop weight. They're going to do that first. But then you have to bring in, if we're going to keep doing this, you've got to have portion control. I think that goes with anything, which if we're doing macros, that's basically your portion controlling things out. But to live that healthy lifestyle, you really got to control what you're eating too. So
it's so easy to overeat.
It is.
And people, it's part of my plan that you have to buy a digital food scale. That is part of my plan.
I agree with that.
Because it's as simple as this one girl sent me a picture and said, "Is this 4 ounces of chicken?" And I was like, and it's on a styrofoam plate and it's filling about more than half the plate up. And I'm like, no, that's way too much. It's way too much. And so I'm like, you have to get a scale because you don't, if you don't do it every day, like I could probably measure out 4 ounces of chicken right now, but it's because I do it every single day.
All the time. Yeah. It's like 2 tablespoons of peanut butter.
Oh
like,
gosh, that's a
once you
big
measure
one.
it out, you're like, that's
nothing.
it.
There's nothing. So I actually make them, we do that. This is a tip for anybody. So put on your scale, put it on grams, and then set your peanut butter jar on it, and then zero it out, and then dip your peanut butter out and get it to 16 grams would be a teaspoon. 16 grams is a teaspoon. Get it to 16 grams, and it'll be exactly a teaspoon of peanut butter.
Okay.
Then you don't have to put it in the teaspoon and then get all the little pieces out because you can't. You want it so much.
And I have heard like of people doing it the opposite, like taking things out instead of putting it in.
It's easy with jars of stuff like pickles or peanut butter.
Right.
I do get pickles on my plate.
Do you have a limit on pickles?
No, not really.
Okay, that's good because I'm like pickles should be good for
like 2 meals.
Right.
I probably have more, but.
So I think we've kind of covered like something that's like simple and then more scientific, like what you do, where it's a little bit more hardcore. So I think for people, it's just finding out what works best for them. And I think you sound like you do that great with your clients, figuring that out and helping them. Of course, you take a lot of the thought out for them, though. So that is awesome. So Mandy is going to be your go-to girl if you want like a structured meal plan like that, because that's awesome. You don't find a lot of people that'll do a meal plan for the food for you like that. So do you want to share anything else, or even like your information, like how they can contact you if they do want that specific meal plan?
Yeah. So my best way would be probably Facebook. That's a lot of my messages come through Facebook, and it's just Mandy, Mandy, Harbin, Harbin. My Instagram is mandy.harbin.fit if you want to follow me on there. That's the best. The best way would probably be on Facebook Messenger. That way I'm not having to get myself.
Right. And let's see, one other thing. I wanted to congratulate you. You did not say this, but Mandy was just featured on the cover of a magazine. I
Harbin.
meant to tell you to bring it so everybody could see it. Yes.
Yeah.
And her husband framed the cover
you.
for her. It was so nice.
Sweet.
But yeah, what was the name of the magazine?
Hard Fitness.
Hard
magazine.
Fitness. And was it a particular month or?
Yeah, it was June. He's a year behind, so it's actually June 2019. He just featured me on the cover for June 2019, which would really be the most recent cover that he's done. But those pictures were done in Miami in November.
Okay.
So,
Well, that is awesome. Congrats for
thank
that.
you. I was really excited. I knew I had an interview that I had to fill out for him, but I just thought it was for like his website.
Right.
And then the next morning I woke up and I saw these tags and I was like, what? It's like, I just got what?
That's exciting. That's very
That was
exciting.
really cool.
Is there anything else you want to maybe add that we didn't cover
I don't think so.
about nutrition?
I think we're good.
All right, well, I appreciate you coming on the show, and good luck in your September, that's Labor Day weekend show. And if y'all follow Mandy, then you can keep up with how she does even in her show.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Mandy.
Thank you.